Howdy football fiends, I am Mr. Pewter. Welcome to your Sports Outpost Saturday morning football show. We have 15 Week 4 games to update you with the biggest plays and moments. The main game for the stream is Texas Tech at Utah, number 24 versus number 17, Red Raiders Utes, McGuire-Whittingham battle for the first time since 1973. So sit back and relax here on the SPOP couch with Roadie for the fourth full weekend of college football. Like for real guys, it's the freaking weekend and we bout to have us some fun. Okay, that's it for me, and here is your host Road Dog.
Howdy and welcome to the trenches of my couch live here on YT, and thank you Mr. Peter, as the main game has gotten underway. Kickoff has literally just happened, and we also have an awesome show to update you here again, another Saturday morning for the fourth full weekend of the sport that we all love, that is college football. As here at your Sports Outpost, we like covering all 136 collegiate football programs as best we can. If it's your first time joining us here on the couch, welcome to the trenches. And if you're joining us and are a returner, welcome back, you stud, to the trenches. Again, our main game is Utah taking on Texas Tech. The first play is about to get underway, and that means I got to get this screen updated here in a few moments on all the zeros. But Utah Tech kickoff has happened. The Utes get the ball first. Wofford versus Virginia Tech has also gotten underway. The battle for the skillet there in Dallas, or actually no, this one's in Fort Worth, which is I think technically Dallas if I'm not mistaken, has also gotten underway. South Carolina State taking on USF. That one has also started. The first points for today is over in Memphis. The Razorbacks are now up 7-0. Maryland versus Wisconsin also underway. Syracuse versus Clemson. Kickoff has begun. Bowling Green taking on Louisville. They're in Kentucky. UNLV playing Miami of Ohio. That one has started. And I guess the final game to mention is North Texas taking on Army. They're in, I know it's New York, but I don't know exactly the city. West Point I think would be technically the city for Army. Anyways, we already have it updated for you here. We're gonna go find that first touchdown of the day, and that is gonna be between Arkansas and Memphis. Let's see if I can find that already. Usually it's posted pretty quickly. Yep, we got it. Here we go. We have a home run, Kalen Green, to one of his Razorbacks receivers. That made it 7-0. That is our first touchdown of the stream. I gotta start updating the bottom as well, but there we go. First score of the day. How do you do? Texas Tech just hit a big play. They are in the red zone there in Salt Lake. This week on our show, we were talking about Tech being the #1 scoring offense. Not overall, but just in the first half as well. First quarter, I think they're top 5. In 2024, they were number 4 on that list in scoring points in the first half. And that's going to be a very big thing. How many points can the Red Raiders score before the Utes make their adjustments? USF has gotten their first points of the day against South Carolina State, and the TCU Horned Frogs open up scoring between them and SMU. I have the touchdown, second of the stream for you there in Fort Worth. Hoover hitting a Horned Frog receiver there. Former Boise State Bronco McAllister is the target, taking it to the house. Nice catch. Breaks a couple of tackles, it looks like there. And TCU in that rivalry game are up. So I gotta update some scores on the big screen. Let's do it. Texas Tech has also scored, and it's not a good start for Utah there. But again, that's kind of what Tech loves to do, getting up early there. I think we have a total of 21 points, if I'm not mistaken, so far here in the morning. I'll probably be wrong, as we're updating the big score screen in front of us. Oh, it looks like Syracuse has already gotten themselves opened up on the scoreboard. 7-0 between them and Clemson. Memphis has responded with a field goal that is now 7-3 against Arkansas. And I gotta change the main scoreboard here as well. There we are. I'm gonna go look for that Syracuse touchdown. Was in the red zone. As we got the third touchdown for the morning 15 games or noon, depending on where you are in the country. There we go. It'll replay here in a second. And Jelly, off to a great start there as a Syracuse Orange player. And a beautiful catch in the end zone as well. Jump ball. Justice Ross Simmons is the target that climbed the ladder, like in the caption there. And Clemson already down at home. I think that's every game so far for them. They have been down early by all of their opponents, whether they're on the road or hosting. So let's update that here. We got 3 touchdowns for the stream. I'm going to get the Texas Tech one right here in a few moments, because that just happened. North Texas has opening up the scoring there in West Point against Army. And they're also another quick scoring offense. Virginia Tech has scored their first touchdown against FCS Wofford. And maybe they'll be getting their first win of the season there in Blacksburg. I don't have the touchdown yet for Tech, but I do. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I do. But I have the big play that set up the touchdown. Let's check out that 70-yarder. Big one with yards after the catch. This might be the area where Utah might be lacking is speed. And a lot of sloppy tackling as well. But it's early in the game. They have more than enough time to adjust to this really, again, fast and quick Red Raider offense. The touchdown. After that 70-yard gain, Cameron Dickey punches it in for Tech. That makes it 7-0. Utes right now have a 3rd and 7 to overcome. So far, 4 touchdowns here on the stream. Thanks for the getting into the chat there, Fresh. And Roll Tide Roll. I don't think Alabama's playing this week, but next week you definitely can join us. I think we'll be on Rumble for that game, but I might do the Penn State Oregon one. But thanks for getting into the chat there, buddy. I'm gonna look for North Texas. As we like to get a highlight from each of these games. We have 15. UAB Tennessee will be kicking off pretty soon, and then Central Michigan versus Wagner State should be starting also. Okay, we got the touchdown for North Texas. Let's check out the clip. Looked a little messy there. But that's the mean green. Getting real mean with the Black Knights of Army. All right. We will get another touchdown here in a few moments. Miami of Ohio has opened up against UNLV. And no one's around that guy. Let's check that out. I got it ready for us. UNLV playing some sloppy defense early on. That's kind of the biggest trend for the Rebels here in 2025. When they started off week 0 against Idaho State, they also started off slow. Forgetting who it was that they played a couple weeks ago, or last week I think it was. Utah goes for it on 4th down, and that might look a little short. I'm going to update the main screen. But the bottom should be the most updated for scores, as we'll go through today in all the games. But so far, I think every game. Oh no, Maryland has scored. I was gonna say every game besides Maryland versus Wisconsin, but I just looked back and the Terps are up there in Madison. SMU has gotten their first points. It is 3-7. As we'll find out who wins that skillet today. Maybe for the final time. Probably not. They'll probably have that game rescheduled for some future dates. Because that would be a terrible thing if they are not playing at least every so often. All right, here we go. Posted 1 minute ago. We have Maryland's first touchdown. I gotta look for Virginia Tech's here in a few moments. It is the true freshman Malik Washington taking it in. I think they reviewed that play. Initially, it was called short for that first down when Utah won for it, but I think they finally looked back at it and they're giving the Utes another chance there. I believe I have Virginia Tech's touchdown. I'll have that on the screen in a few moments. I'm just double checking some other scores before I update. So that I have everything. Wow. Syracuse up already 10-0 on the road there against Clemson. Okay, those are all updates. Or as far as I can get them to. Gotta do the bottom. You saw a little glimpse of that touchdown. We'll have it there in a few moments. I'm just gonna do a couple more score updates. North Texas has also gotten themselves a touchdown again. Just like Tech, another fast offense there in the first half. Talk about the air raid. Here we go. Here's that Hokie touchdown. They're rocking the lettered with the flag helmet today. We kind of got that going as well. I think as best we could have gotten it. And they might be getting their first win here in 2025. Those are the score updates of what we have so far. Stephen Jelly is cooking for the Orange and getting some more points on the board. We'll see what Kevin Jennings has in him as they're down 7-3 there in Fort Worth with TCU and SMU. That's one's going to be just a great, great game. Bowling Green surprisingly up 3-0, but Louisville is in the red zone, and Miami of Ohio is 6 yards out from the red zone at the moment, so they might be adding to that lead over UNLV. Wow, North Texas has scored again. I gotta go back and see those touchdowns. There's two that we already missed from that game against the Black Knights. The American are just having a great year to start 2025. I was looking, I think, at a post of their winning percentage versus other conferences, and they're over 500 and above the ACC. And the win last night against Oklahoma State for Tulsa helps that out a lot. And I've already put it out there on social media that I wouldn't be surprised if the American get multiple teams into the playoff. I think that's very possible, especially if Notre Dame loses another game or two. You have maybe an undefeated team out of the American, a one-loss one that doesn't play maybe in that championship game. I think the scenarios could definitely be possible. Cannot shut that door whatsoever. I'm not finding another touchdown from North Texas. Maybe they happened so fast. Oh, we get our first touchdown here in Salt Lake City. Devin Dampier hits a home run to Jackson Benny. It is now going to be maybe a tie ball game. And I had the score there wrong, actually. My bad. Fix that. The white helmets gets it a little confusing. It's 7-6. Ooh. They're calling it back. They're calling that touchdown back. High profile right tackle Spencer Fano. Illegal man downfield. Let's update that big board. So we got some scoring put on it. We'll hopefully find some of those North Texas touchdowns. Louisville capitalizes on that red zone drive. 7-3 against Bowling Green, and also Miami of Ohio 14-0 there against the visiting Rebels. Ooh, almost have a mishap with an option play there for the Utes. Awan Brown is the scorer for the Cardinal. And Louisville gets their first lead against Bowling Green. And we have a turnover in Salt Lake City. The Red Raiders are going to start that drive just short of the 50. Army has finally gotten some points there against North Texas. It's 21-7. What a turn of events for Utah. They get the ball back after that missed call on 4th down. They hit a home run, but it gets called back because of a flag. And then now they turn the ball over. Just a roller coaster of emotions for Utes fans. Which is kind of interesting. Last night, I just started to watch. I think it's called American Primal. If you watched Friday Night Lights, good old Tim Riggins is the star of that show. Taylor Hertz or Kitsch, however you pronounce his last name. Memphis has scored. And also, Clemson has gone on the board. We don't have the second touchdown for North Texas, but we have the third one. And if I'm not mistaken, that was off of a turnover to set that drive up. Because I have a celebration there on the bench. A lot of these defensive celebrations are pretty fun. This is what they do over for the Mean Green. You got some Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm pretty sure that's probably like sparkling water or something. Canned water. As the Mean Green defense are having a lot of fun there against the Black Knights. We'll get Clemson's first touchdown and Memphis's first touchdown, and then we'll hopefully get one from USF. Maybe I'll go look for USF. We haven't got a highlight from them. I think that is the last game out of all of them that have started where we haven't seen one. And it looks like it's a pick six. Beautiful. Our first defensive touchdown today. Love to see that. Here we go. Virginia Tech has added to their lead. It's now 14-0. Oh, wow. I did not catch this, but there was an onside kick between Syracuse and Clemson. I believe that might have set up one of those scoring drives. I'll have a better shot of it right here, and the camera guy gets even fooled. That is a close-up after it happened, and this is it live. Camera guy gets tricked. Here's the touchdown for the Tigers at home. I don't have so far a clip that's zoomed out. Oh, well, we have an interception though out there for the Tigers. I'm gonna look for that touchdown. Should be here. Oh, there it is. Found it. So we have Taylor Green throwing an interception. So I think Jaden Dennis. And then we have a touchdown here from the Tigers quarterback. This made it 10-7 against the Razorbacks. TCU has added to their lead. It is now 14-3 against SMU. Here in Salt Lake City, we have back-to-back turnovers. Oh, back-to-back off of 3 drives. A fumble from the Utes. They pick it back off. And then Tech's defense delivers another blow. Maybe I can get those on the screen for turnovers. Let me update the big board though. There's some scores. And Tennessee versus UAB has gotten underway. I think I have everything updated though besides that. Syracuse is back in the red zone. Wow, but Clemson is not who we thought they were. Kate Klubnik might be the biggest waste of time in the offseason there. First quarter has ended here at Rice Eccles Stadium. It's 7-0 Tech. Let's go find some of those turnovers. Oh, I forgot to do Virginia Tech and ECU. So I do have the latest turnover for our main game. Rodriguez punching the ball out of another former Lobos player. That would be Rogers, if I'm not mistaken. Davis was the other guy. Oh, that's Parker, I think, actually. Never mind, not a former Lobos player. Maryland has scored again on Wisconsin. That is not good for Luke Fickell and his job. I'm not saying that he'll get fired over this loss to the Terps, but it would not be a good start in trying to keep his, again, position as the Badgers head coach. Tennessee has opened up the scoring against UAB. That is already 7-0 Volunteers. Central Michigan versus Wagner. That should start in about 7 minutes, and that'll be the final game out of the 15 here for us on the stream that we're updating you on highlights and the biggest moments. Arkansas. Sorry, I was watching the snow day. Have you guys ever watched the snow day commercial back in the day? Actually, I'll throw that on the screen for some fun. It's like one of the best commercials I think Nike's ever done. There's some score updates. Arkansas went back on top 14-10 over Memphis. Syracuse has scored and go back up by 10, 17-7 over Clemson. UNLV is in the red zone. And that's it so far. Let me get the big board updated for the few touchdowns that we just got. And I'm going to go look for Arkansas's second touchdown. Oh, I don't have the second touchdown, but I have the one. Oh, no, never mind. We already showed that one, if I'm not mistaken. The celebration. Looking a little goofy there, but it is what it is. No, I don't have it. Syracuse, let's go find that one. That one literally just happened. Here we go. Syracuse's latest touchdown. As I'm going for a nice stretch. Can't see it, but you can kind of feel it. Is that we've now shown so many touchdowns here already this morning. We have some scoring. SMU gets their first touchdown against the Horned Frogs. And then UNLV got their first set of points with a field goal against Miami of Ohio. And Tennessee has already answered with another TD to make it 14-0 over UAB. Wagner and Central Michigan has kicked off that final game here for our morning show. Has gone underway, and hopefully we'll get a clip from there. I'm gonna go find the Tennessee one. So again, we hit our goal of seeing a highlight from each of these games. And so far I have not seen anything when I'm searching. Over on the X machine, bringing us all the highlights. For us this morning. Is this game even televised? I'm getting the vibe that it's not, or at least if it is, it's probably like on ESPN Plus. Since we're gonna wait for that one, let me find SMU because they just scored. I see one, but it's not the best view. Look at latest. All right, here we go. And we have another turnover for Utah. Neither offense is able to finish off drives. But here is SMU's touchdown to make it 14-10. They're still down there in Fort Worth. Very nice play from Kevin Jennings. I think that's the tight end Hibber scoring there. So let's update the big board. Central Michigan. The Chippewas have already scored against Wagner. All right, there is the updates. Louisville off to a little bit of a slow start there at home against Bowling Green, but they add to their lead there, now up 14-3. Then UNLV scored their first touchdown against Miami of Ohio. Let me go look for Central Michigan, see if that ever got posted. It is a MAC team, so sometimes MAC Nation doesn't get enough love. Again, another pick six. Central Michigan is our second here on the stream. USF had one against South Carolina State. Oh, we have back-to-back pick six highlights to show you. That's how UNLV got their first touchdown. Looks like their offense is really struggling on the road, but at least their defense helps them out with getting a touchdown here. And their quarterback looks to also be down after that play. We have some more interesting plays that are not touchdowns. Well, I mean, technically the last two were. We have a block punt. I believe that set up Maryland's second touchdown against Wisconsin there. And before I show the big board, I got to do some more updates. Clemson. I think the collapse has finally happened. 24-7 as the Orange kick an extra point. That team and program, I think, has finally fallen, and today might be that day. Not that Dabo Swinney's going to get fired, but he will definitely be joining a lot of other head coaches that are in hot seats. That is just something I did not expect. Here's the big board and the updates. I'm kind of in shock right now. A little bit because of what Clemson has been putting out on the field, and that's just disappointing. So disappointing. North Texas scores again. Now it's 28-7 against Army. As some of these games already getting out of hand and some getting closer than when it started. I'm going to go look for Tennessee. That's the last game we haven't seen a highlight from, which is kind of surprising. We've seen highlights from each of these games. But so far, nothing from the Volunteers. Absolutely nothing. Oh wait, I bet too many E's in Tennessee. No, for real, what is going on here? Why am I not? There we go, finally. Here it is. First highlight for the game against UAB. Joey Aguilar hitting his favorite target this season. Chris Brazel, the former Tulane Green Wave player in his second season as a volunteer, gets himself another touchdown. Doing a little bit of a dance there as well. Nothing new with the highlights. I think we're also up to date with the scores. Oh no, Miami of Ohio is added. UNLV is going to have to mount a massive comeback there in the second half. Louisville has also added to their lead. It's now 21-3. Arkansas has also added. Now it's 21-10. That would have been a big game. It doesn't look like Memphis is going to get the job done at home. But if they can also come out and come back with a comeback, that would be interesting for the American. I'm just updating the big board right now. I should have that here to show you pretty soon. And here we go. So we still got that highlight on the screen. Still 7-0 here in Salt Lake City. Arkansas again adds to their lead, 21-10. I forgot to keep... How do I keep not adding that touchdown for Maryland? Oh, there we go. 14-0 Terps. 24-7 there for Clemson and Syracuse. Virginia Tech up 21-0. TCU still leading there at the moment. Even though SMU does have the ball back, maybe they even it up. Well, actually, no, they can't. Or maybe take the lead or be down by 1 with a field goal. Louisville has added, again, 21-3 against Bowling Green. Miami of Ohio extends their lead. They just kicked an extra point to make it 21-10. And then Army looks like they're responding. They just got past the 50. It is 28-7 Mean Green there at West Point. South Florida still up 21-0 against South Carolina State. That game is about to get to halftime. And then Tennessee just outside their red zone. They're on the 21-yard line of UAB. It is 14-0 Vols. And then Central Michigan is up 7-0. They are on the Wagner 5. It's 4th down there for the Triple Walls. Texas Tech has their backup quarterback in, but that's more of a run option. It's been a great defensive performance so far here in the first half. That was a big question that we asked: is Utah preventing Texas Tech scoring? There's only one touchdown so far. The Utes offense has to respond eventually. And Baron Morton is back out on the field for this big third down. Touchdown Volunteers. Also, touchdown Chippewas. We're going to update the big board here in a few moments. On the bottom, we have some score updates already for you. We have less than 5 minutes for the game here in Salt Lake City. And it might not be a high scoring affair, but I think some of these second half adjustments, we should see some more points. Utah has not been able to really run the ball whatsoever. They're trying to take shots, but also when they have been running the ball, they've been fumbling it. The Utes just 57 yards on the ground. Texas Tech, not a big physical team when it comes to pounding the rock. They only have 23 yards. I think they've definitely been overpassing it with Devin Dampier. He's 11 for 14 for just 51 yards. Hasn't thrown an interception yet, like Baron Morton. He's already had 2 registered. Coming up against this really good Utes defense. Baron Morton tries to do something with his feet. Comes up short of the first down. Lays his helmet down though. A lot of respect for that. As Tech's going to be punting it back with less than 4 minutes for the Utah offense to get something going. I get a decent bounce back where they'll pick up some yards. 3:29 left. Is there a win probability for this game? Oh, there is. Wow, they actually put one up for the Fox game. I think last week for Alabama versus Wisconsin, I don't think they had that. Let me get that out on the screen. Win probability. Maybe I'll play with this again. A little wider. Is that what it needs? Yeah, I think that's what it is. There we go. Tech has the highest percentage to win this game at the moment. 63.5% chance, now moved up to 64. I think that's just because of how poor Utah's offense has been. But again, they have halftime to adjust. I don't think Tech has been much better. I think their defense has definitely done an amazing job. Jacob Rodriguez, I believe, had 6 tackles, already a forced fumble just in this first half. And he throws his first interception. Tech gets the ball back immediately. Just needed to throw that ball away. You can see why some quarterbacks are better than others. Maryland got themselves a field goal. As I'm going to update the big board here in a few moments. As there was some scoring I was waiting to finalize the extra point with. Army has scored again, and now it's a 2-possession game between them and North Texas, 28-14 there. South Carolina State playing South Florida got their first touchdown against the Bulls. We talked about it earlier. Tennessee making it 21-0 already against UAB. And then Central Michigan, the last game to kick off for the morning show, is 14-0 there against Wagner. And I forgot to change the quarter. It's not going to be on there for very much longer. My bad with the main score, but it is accurate. This is interesting. Not a crazy highlight, but it's a little funny. Again, highlights and moments here, like we like to show on the morning show. This is how Maryland versus Wisconsin started. You'll see here in slow motion. The ball, just from the rumbling of the Terps players, tips over, and the kicker has to, on the fly, get the ball off there. It's actually a little impressive when you watch it in slow motion. We have another touchdown to show you. We got Central Michigan going up 14-0 here. There's that one. We also have another one from Knoxville, Joey Aguilar. That made it 14-0. At the moment, it's 21-0. The Bussin' Bowl is happening in those mid-game slots. We got good old Connor Stallions with Will Compton. There in Nebraska. Still looking for some more highlights. We just have the recent interception for our main game. You'll see what I was talking about earlier. Why certain quarterbacks are better than others. Dampier making a huge mistake here. Should have just thrown it away. Throws it up. Tech picks it off. That was probably going to be a punt anyways. You're probably better off punting it than giving the ball up right around the 50. And Tech might be actually scoring here before halftime to make it 14 or 10-0 on the road. What the? This is interesting. From the UAB Tennessee game, I think their kicker just got his foot stomped on by a Blaze player. What the heck? That's just some dirty stuff. Personally, do not like seeing that whatsoever. There's kind of no excuse for that. USF in their third touchdown against South Carolina State. We have a really interesting highlight to show you. Calandria, the quarterback for UNLV, hurdling a Miami of Ohio defender. It looks like Texas Tech got a penalty. They are not playing smart football. Oh no, it was a minus 10-yard pass. Oh no, there was holding. Never mind. I was trying to read the play-by-play and I was just going what was first. So we're covering with a lot of highlights, big moments here in the morning games. Here is Army's second score against North Texas. they're trying to stay in that fight. We got another one for Syracuse to show you. Steve Angeli. I believe that's Hall, his wide receiver, that scores. That put him up 24-7. As we're trying to get as many highlights in before halftime. Oh, we have a really nice interception from SMU against TCU in the red zone. Texas Tech is going to attempt a 58-yard field goal with less than a minute here in the second quarter. That ball is good. And 10-0. Texas Tech leading. We have a touchdown from Arkansas earlier in the day. We didn't get to catch this. And we're trying to squeeze as many before our halftime break. We have another one to show you from Maryland. They're in Madison, Wisconsin. Malik Washington connecting with a Terp receiver in the red zone. Arkansas has scored again before halftime, making it 28-10. Miami of Ohio might be getting some points before halftime as well. And then Tennessee just scored once again. They're about to make it 28-0. Gonna update the big board again before we go to halftime here in Salt Lake. Yeah, all the games besides, I think, Syracuse, Clemson. Clemson is in the red zone, so they might be scoring here in a few moments. Wisconsin's about to get into the red zone. They're just past the 50. And then Memphis is trying to respond there against Arkansas. The big board at the moment is up to date. We might have to do it once again. But here's the latest. Clemson just literally scored. Wow. As we make that score update. We have 25 seconds left. We also have a pass interference call on a Red Raider defender. as Utah is just past the 50. They're almost within field goal range. They definitely want to get some kind of points before halftime. Tech just also started with the ball in this game, so the Utes will get the kickoff return in the second half. They just got into field goal range with that pickup. The clock is still ticking. They got one timeout left. And Pierre goes deep, 11 seconds. You probably just want to get a nice short play off right here to get into some better field goal position. We're getting highlights of some missed field goals by the Utes kicker last week in Laramie, Wyoming. 4 seconds left. Before the Utes kicker can get it off, Texas Tech takes a timeout. The good old icing of the kicker there. We just updated that big board for Clemson. I'm going to go look for it to see if we can get that before we go to halftime here. We do have the touchdown. What in the world was that? That was just sad. That was just sad. They missed the field goal. There's a flag. And I think it's on Texas Tech. So roughing the kicker. It'll give the Utes freshman another chance. So we'll see Utah get another chance. Looks very doable now. It's only 32 yards out. This one is good. So Utah won't go into the locker room at halftime, shut out. But the offense definitely has to make some adjustments here, as this game's at halftime. Gonna make a few more adjustments to the big board before we go to halftime. We're gonna take our break and then we'll come back right before the players take the field. But we want to give you a couple more updates as it looks like we have a few. Here we go. Tech obviously giving up that field goal against the Utes. Memphis scored a touchdown right before halftime, as I think maybe there's a few more seconds left on the clock. Syracuse versus Clemson. The Tigers get some points before halftime. Maryland is in the red zone, so that 17-0 might be a little bit more. And I think the last one to talk about is Tennessee adding to their lead. We mentioned that, but we got to finally add it to the board. So 28-0 there. We're going to take our halftime break. We will be back, and then I will also be updating the bottom there as halftime rolls on for some other games that are still live. I'll try to keep you up to date as best I can. Mr. Peter, take us to halftime.
You got it, Roadie. All right, you football fiends, we are going to take our halftime break. Roadie will return just before the teams retake the field with some notes of the first half. Okay, we'll see you guys in a bit.
Okay, we are back. And this game here in Salt Lake City has gotten back underway as well. Here are some score updates. I believe I have everything up to date to where everything should be in terms of who has scored what. Actually, never mind. I have played myself. The last one I needed to do there was Virginia Tech versus Wofford. Oh, there we go. There is the updates. I do have some plays already to show ya. So let's get things going here with some highlights. This was a punt return for Louisville that made it 21-3 against Bowling Green. It was a nice punt, but an even better return there for the Cardinals. So let's keep moving down the line of highlights. This was Arkansas's third touchdown against Memphis, punching it in there in the red zone. And then here is the Razorbacks' fourth one there in the first half. Here's Memphis responding right before halftime, 28-17. And then here is a very long field goal for the Texas Tech kicker, Stone Harrington, 58 yards out. We have targeting on Baron Morton. At least that's what the call is at the moment. I think he's going to come out for a play. He seems to be all right, though. But for a second there, took a big hit. Joe Clapp, one of the commentators, is talking about what is the definition of targeting. And technically, Baron Morton isn't protected under those rules because of the way he was running the ball. I kind of give it to the Utes defender. I mean, he wasn't going forward. He stopped in his tracks and then just lowered his pad level. So they reviewed it, not targeting. Paul, the Utes defender, gets the benefit of the doubt of that ruling. And it'll be a big third down for Texas Tech here. without Morton on the field as well. So it's 3rd and long for the Red Raiders. Another false start, second one on this drive. Ooh. And it looks like Texas Tech's going to lose their starting quarterback, Baron Morton. He's walking there on the sideline into the locker room. This game might have just flipped its head. Some touchdowns already to start us off here. We have USF adding to their lead, making it 35-7. Army scored to start off their game in the second half against North Texas, but the Mean Green get a field goal, makes it 31-21. Tennessee adds to their lead right before halftime. They're in Knoxville, 35-7. And then UNLV, I think I missed that touchdown. Did they score before halftime? I thought they were. I guess they did. So it's 24-17 between them and the Red Hawks of Miami of Ohio. I'll go look for that touchdown because I was a little curious. There is a game delay between Syracuse and Clemson, so that one's going to take a minute to come back from halftime. This looks to be the up-to-date big board. SMU has just scored literally as I put the big board up. It's fine. We'll update that. Again, Utah is trying to throw the ball. The offensive coordinator needs to figure things out. Like, it's just not working through the air. They need to run the ball. As there's an incomplete pass for the Utes. And the interception, Texas Tech. Utah not figuring it out, making terrible halftime adjustments, trying to throw the ball on second down. They do it on third because they kind of have to because of the way they set themselves up. And now turn the ball over, giving Tech excellent field position. But we'll see the quarterback situation on how that unfolds. USF scores again. It's now 42-7 there against South Carolina State. Let's update the big board. Let me get a couple things updated. So there's a lot going on here. Call is overturns incomplete pass, but still, Utah needs to go away from their current approach because they're just shooting themselves in the foot. Just run the ball every 3 downs. Who cares if Texas Tech knows what you're doing? That's your bread and butter. Because they're at the moment not even going to maybe even make it over 100 yards rushing, and that's definitely not going to help out Dampier. They have 61 yards in this game. Dampier only 86 through the air. So yeah, I would say abandon the passing game. Totally abandon the passing game. He's already also thrown in an interception. Like, if you're going to pass it, play action. That's it. Simple as that. It's just it's so frustrating to watch this. Because it's kind of like that for the Michigan Oklahoma game. I mean, Clemson all year has been very frustrating to watch because of their approach as well when it comes to how they are going to strategize. Let me go find some touchdowns. There are some here that just happened. So we got a bunch of different highlights right when we came back from halftime. I believe there's a block punt for USF, but I don't see any kind of video highlight yet. Let's maybe look for UNLV. I think they scored right before halftime. That was one that I did not get to witness. And here we're going to do that together. If it's going to play, there we go. That made it 24-17. Oh, that actually started off the second half. So I was misunderstanding the way that was going down. SMU has also scored. I'm going to find that here in a few moments. As they're putting up a good fight against TCU. And here we go. Got it queued up for us. Like, if SMU loses that game, let's say Miami loses tonight, the ACC is going to be in a very, very bad spot at the tail end of the season. They would need like Georgia Tech to go undefeated, but you know, the Yellow Jackets are definitely going to lose to Georgia. Clemson looks like they're going to lose to probably South Carolina at the end of the season. If Kentucky can get another one over Louisville, like, it's going to be a hard ass to get multiple teams from the Atlantic Coast into the playoff, let alone just one, because they might be that bad. Oh, we have an interesting highlight for UAB. I know they scored a touchdown, but we have a pretty crazy catch to show you. Here's kind of the way to sum up what's been going on here in Salt Lake. We see the penalties, 11 for Texas Tech. I think they have a 6. I think that got updated. Maybe it's 12 now. Let me double check that. Most of them have been false starts. Yeah, 12 for 110, so that's not even accurate technically. Technically. And if they lose this game, that'll be the reason why. Wow. Hammond, the freshman backup quarterback filling in for Morton, who got knocked out of the game, threw a very risky ball into traffic, but his receiver comes up with it, and Texas Tech looks like they have some life here after losing their starting quarterback. Let me see if I need to update the scoreboard here on the top, and it looks like I do. Louisville is going to be scoring again. I'm going to wait for the extra point to bring that up. Wisconsin finally gets their first points. I think they are the only team so far today to not score any points, and they make it 20-3. Memphis gets a field goal, so now it's just a one possession game between them and Arkansas. They're putting up a good fight. And before Tennessee can get to halftime, they make it 42-7. There's about 30 seconds left. Also, the Chippewas keep chipping away and adding to their lead, making it 28-3. So here is the big board and the updates. I gotta do the bottom now. I'm trying to see what I just missed right now. They went to commercial. I looked away. I'm trying to figure out why we are at commercial. Three-yard pass was the last play. Okay, we're at commercial for some reason. I'm not too sure if that was because of a field goal. But that's the latest. 10-3 still is the scoreline that I have. We're going to have some close games. SMU, TCU, Arkansas, Memphis. Those are going to be nice and tight. Maybe Army can mount that comeback there at home against North Texas. And then Miami of Ohio versus UNLV looks to be close. We'll see how Clemson responds, though. It's not been a good first half for the Tigers and Dabo Swinney. That game is still delayed. Looks like Virginia Tech just scored. And then SMU is about 10 yards away from the red zone. They should be adding to their lead there. Louisville, I think, missed their extra point, so I got to update that. Okay, so yeah, Utah got the ball back. It was just a good punt, and why the commentary for the game in Salt Lake got a little excited. I'll say Saban, Ferentz, and Gundy is probably the three head coaches that they're asking. Oh, Brian Kelly, okay. And Sweeney. Interesting. USF has scored again. 49-7 there. Tennessee UAB is going to halftime. Central Michigan Wagner should be shortly getting into halftime. Those were the later kickoffs here for us. As the this past huge drive looks like it's gonna fail. This was the reason why we had a very good punt from Texas Tech. Also earlier in the second half here, we had that catch that I mentioned. Just looking for some highlights. Not seeing anything new. I think I got to do the big board here in a few moments. This game is nice and tight here in Salt Lake. Both defenses are just not allowing much of anything. Which makes a lot of sense. Neither of these offenses have come up against a really, really quality opponent. Even the UCLA game for Utah in week 1 was not much of a test for the Utes. UNLV has just tied it up. I'm gonna go find that touchdown. They're on the road against Miami of Ohio. USF continues to add to that lead. It was 48-7. We just mentioned that. Now it's 56-7. And before halftime, the Chippewas add again to make it 35-3 there against Wagner. I have a clip of the hit on Morton. Let's take a look at that. Or not. So apparently, I might have to throw this one up on the screen because it's a little weird for some of these clips sometimes. There we go. Another third down already for Tech. We'll see if they can convert. It looks like they will. Oh, never mind. There's going to be a flag. But here's the hit on Morton that put him in the locker room at the moment. We'll see if he returns. More than likely, when they saw him there on the sideline, because I think he got knocked out for a second there. It looked like just the way his neck whipped back. Hopefully he's going to be all right. I just kind of wanted to show that not for the injury purposes, but the reverse call, because originally that was targeting. And I was saying that earlier that the defender wasn't even moving forward. Then on top of that, the rules don't apply towards the way Baron Morton was running that ball. So if he's going to be diving in like that, you don't even see the defender take another step, as he took a couple of them, 1, 2, almost 3 steps before he even gets to the defender. So there's no way he's going to be protected for a targeting call. Unfortunately, that's just the way the rules are. Tech comes up short. It's going to be 4th down, and they're punting it away. Maybe they pin him again. Doesn't look like they will get it back at the 1, but it will be, I think, around the 6 or 7 yard line of the Utes. Arkansas got themselves a field goal. Extended their lead back to 10. Army's in the red zone right now, as again they're mounting a comeback against North Texas. And then Miami of Ohio has just responded to UNLV tying the game, making it now 31-24 there against the Rebels. I gotta do the bottom. I didn't get a chance to do that yet, but there we go. Army has just scored. They're about to make it a one possession game. As the Mean Green were off to a very fast start. But the Black Knights putting up a hell of a fight. As the week one for them wasn't the best. They dropped the ball against Tarleton State. But in recent weeks, they've definitely responded. That big win against Kansas State on the road. And if they can get a nice comeback win here, that is just a nice bounce back. But I don't think it's good for the American, to be quite honest with you, if Army ends up winning that game. You want to have as many undefeated teams going deeper into the season so that when you get into, again, the later season of conference play, you have those teams kind of playing each other, helping out the American again with at least pleading their case of getting obviously a team in, kind of solidifies that. But, again, if the ACC is going to be as bad as it's been, Notre Dame drops another game, you're just opening that door to getting multiple teams. And that might sound crazy to most, but unfortunately, kind of the way the rules are set, you have more non-conference wins. Your strength of schedule doesn't really matter as much because of what you're doing against other conferences. Oh, look, Utah passing the ball again. At least it's play action. Dampier checks it down. That's a first down pickup. You got to get some momentum going. You got to get away from the drop back passes. If you're going to pass the ball, you got to play action. There's more than enough time for Utah to obviously tie this game, but to really take it over. And how they're going to do that is going to have to be on the ground. They cannot sit in these. Oh, now it's an empty set. Great. Okay, Dampier takes it himself. It wasn't an empty set. There's a motion. Texas Tech's defensive line has done a great job in just getting penetration, winning really in the interior, and at times pushing those big tackles of the Utes around in the run plays. Pick up through the air makes it third and doable. 4 yards out. I hope they don't pass the ball. I know it's not been the best running it, but I think truly that's the only way they're going to win this game. Overthrows. Misses his target and falls incomplete. Utah's going to be punting it back. What a surprise. He also had a wide open target. Overshoots him. Technically, Dampier should have hit a home run there. There's some games already in the fourth quarter, so we're gonna have some final scores probably within the next 10 to 15 minutes. As this one here in Salt Lake has 2 minutes left in the third quarter. We have never mind. I was gonna say we almost had a big touchdown from Jet Thomas, but he just breaks out of the line of scrimmage, gets brought down about 10 yards past the 50. So we have some highlights to still show here, I guess, as the scoring seems like it's slowing down a little bit. One game that's about to kick off pretty soon, the Bussin' Bowl. We got Taylor Lewan giving his prediction. Nice view of the stadium there for Nebraska. I'm not finding anything new. Everything seems to be a bit of the same. A lot of reposts of highlights we've already seen. Uh, Memphis scored a touchdown. I missed that. They opted to go for two, but it failed. So it's 26-31 there against Arkansas, but they're still in that fight, it looks like, going into the fourth quarter pretty soon. Even though the Razorbacks are just past the 50-yard line. What else do I have to show? Oh, Miami of Ohio keeps responding now, 38-24. Here we go. Those are the big board updates. Virginia Tech scored again against the FCS opponent Wofford, as they will pick up their first win here in 2025. Them and UCLA breaking the ice and making some early season decisions to get rid of their head coaches. We might see a few more here in the next couple of days. Just depends on some results. Touchdown from a little earlier. I guess I just the first time I get to see it. TCU, them extending their lead in the second half. Great individual effort after the reception. The fourth quarter begins here in Salt Lake City. 1 quarter to play. We'll see who comes out on top and gets their first Big 12 win of the season. Here was that miss earlier from Dampier. Ooh, just off his hands. Texas Tech almost had a big play. It's 3rd and long. As they're playing with a backup quarterback, probably for the rest of this game, it looks like. Hammond looks like he's pretty legit. Here was that touchdown that tied it up, but I think this game might be out of reach for UNLV as it's 38-24. The Red Hawks instantly respond after this touchdown. Hammond goes back to his target that he missed. Douglas with the reception. This time the ball doesn't bounce off his hands, and that's a big first down. 1st and 10 for Tech in Utah territory. I'm looking for that play that just happened. Let's see if I can pick it up on the fly. It doesn't look like it got posted. Come on now, where are the touchdowns? The big play moment. Yeah, nothing at the moment. Oh, we have the catch. We have the catch. That just happened. Tech is in the red zone. The Mean Green are past the 50, 9 yards out from the red zone. In about 6 minutes, the civil war between Oregon State and Oregon will be underway. And then the midday games will start to kick off about 30 minutes after that. I'm going to double check to see if I got to update some scores. The looks of it, I don't think I have to. We have a missed opportunity for Texas Tech. They have to settle for a field goal. But they do extend their lead here on the road. We have a little bit of a stalemate of points. SMU, I think on paper should have taken the lead, but that hasn't updated. I think there's maybe. I don't know why this thing is not updating like it should. Okay, that's why. It's 28-24. My scoreboard in front of me is refusing to do what it's supposed to do. But we have a nice ball from Jennings to, is it Hudson? Yes, it was Hudson. Regardless of that touchdown, though, TCU responds with their own. Still a tight game, 28-24 in the fourth quarter. We'll see who wins that skillet. I guess the scoring was so fast that it was just like not, it was refusing to update. Utah gets their first big play in a long time. They are past the 50. So I have had to go and look at individual games, unfortunately, to see what has updated. There's quite a bit that is not showing up on my screen. I might have to find a different site for some score updates. Regardless, we will show you those in a few moments. I'm just waiting for an extra point to be good. I think it's been more than enough time. So those are the score updates. Still 31-26 between Memphis and Arkansas. Close game there. Maryland has just scored a touchdown, make it 27-3 as the Badgers are getting blown out now. Still a delay between Syracuse and Clemson. That feels like it's deja vu there. 38-6. Virginia Tech winning over FCS opponent Wofford. Utah has literally just scored. They got their first touchdown right now. It is now 13-9. Instant responses from TCU on top of SMU 28-24. Louisville is up now 33-10. That score update came in a little bit late because, again, my thing is not updating. UNLV makes it one possession 38-31 as that game is in overtime. Oh, not overtime, the fourth quarter. North Texas versus Army 38-28. The Mean Green score again. The two bottom games over here on the right are still at halftime, I think, at the moment, or should be kicking off real soon. There in the second half. Then USF still 56-7 against South Carolina State. I'm just gonna close this screen, and maybe if I just reopen a fresh one. Yeah, I don't know why that keeps happening or why it doesn't want to give me some accurate scores. Tennessee, again, they just opened up with some scoring in the second half against UAB. That should be 42. Why is this still showing up? Okay, I'm going to go to a different site. I have to do that. I'm getting frustrated. Maybe that place would be the best place to go. Oh, this looks like it's also a little delayed. But there are some scores here that I'm seeing that are accurate. So I guess I was right with the 49. Okay. Mix of some results. Oregon versus Oregon State has started. We're going to update the big board as there's some points to update you on. All right, there we go. The latest updates. Having to go to multiple sites to make sure that we are getting some accurate scores then that are also live. 49-10 there to begin the second half between Tennessee and UAB. And I think I've already mentioned all of the updated scores, but we also updated our main game on the big board there. We're about 3 or 4, maybe 5 games that are going to come down to the wire, which is a great weekend. Next weekend on the screen, if you're watching this game again with us, Utah versus Texas Tech. But next weekend we have Illinois hosting USC. That's going to be a big matchup, especially if the Fighting Alumni can get the job done against Indiana there in Bloomington. Wow. This freshman quarterback filling in for Baron Morton. He's having himself a game. He just had a big pickup on the ground. Might have been a block in the back there, but flag was not thrown. Regardless, he has now given the Red Raiders a 1st and 10 in Utah territory. We won't have it on the screen, but again, Oregon versus Oregon State has just started, and the Ducks are up 7-0. We'll have it there to update you at least through the rest of this stream on the bottom. Again, Oregon already up 7-0. This game between Utah and Texas Tech is at a injury timeout. We'll see what happens. And again, Syracuse versus Clemson. If I'm not mistaken, it's a weather delay still going on. Boy, do I have a score update for you. Memphis has gone on top for the first time today against Arkansas, is now 32-31. Other updates, TCU continues to add to their lead, 35-24. Louisville keeps also adding 40-10 against Bowling Green. And then tying it up there in Miami of Ohio, UNLV 38-38 against the Redhawks. That if the Memphis can pick up that win, that is going to be huge for the American. And their winning form out of conference continues to be over 500 and over power conference foes, especially getting one on top of the SEC there will be big. Touchdown here, 19-10. Texas Tech strikes, puts themselves back up by 2 possessions. The freshman quarterback has come in clutch. $20-10, back to 2 possessions. I'm going to update the bottom before I do the big scoreboard. Army keeps fighting. It's 38-35. Okay, the bottom is updated. I'm going to do the now big board. Okay, big board is updated. Texas Tech, big play, as they're now forcing Utah to throw it. But Utah was already doing that anyways. Less than 8 minutes, actually, is less than 7.5. And we'll see if Texas Tech can put this game away. We do have our first final. That is in Blacksburg, Virginia. And the Hokies win 38-6. Pick up their first win of the season here in 2025. The last highlight we saw was from the TCU SMU game, and here is the instant response that the Horned Frogs got against the Ponies. We have the tying touchdown between UNLV and Miami of Ohio. Here's that touchdown for Memphis to go on top of Arkansas for the first time. They're at home. I have another home run to show you. Malik Washington. This was from earlier in the fourth quarter there between them and Wisconsin. The Terps, true freshman quarterback, rocketing in it to his target. That one's basically all but over between them and the Badgers. Here's a nice effort on the ground for North Texas. That made it 38-28. At the moment, it is, I believe, 38-35 between them and Army. Texas Tech looks like they're going to be putting this game away. They picked up another first down, less than 5 minutes. Going to tick down almost to 4 actually right now. Touchdown Tech. They score again. This game is all but over. 26-10. Sloppy tackling for Utah. Could not bring them down. Should have been stopped maybe a yard after the line of scrimmage. But Dickey doesn't quit on the play. That is actually a great play to show. We'll get it up here in a few moments. Looks like Texas Tech is about to hand Utah their first loss of the season. Is they're going to force the Utes to throw the ball, something they don't like to do and have been pretty unsuccessful here already today. And the Red Raiders are looking, after this result, to be Big 12 favorites. Joe Klatt there in the booth talking about Texas Tech now being a top 10 team. I think this win is a big statement. Cannot disagree with that. We'll see here and how this all wraps up. I'm just updating some scores. Rice-Eccles Stadium has gone silent. They have been shut down by this Texas Tech defense. Interception, but there is also a flag. What happens when you don't play to your bread and butter, ladies and gentlemen? You lose the game. And that's what's going to be happening here. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Red Raiders after that. North Texas looks like they're going to hold on against Army. There's less than 20 seconds. They're at West Point. They actually cover. It was -2.5. And what a performance from the freshman quarterback Hammond. Baron Morton has to come out of the game because of a hit he took. Wisconsin got their first touchdown. I think them and Watford and Wagner are the only teams here this morning that have not scored a touchdown. But the Badgers, I guess they're not going away there at home. Arkansas is in the red zone. It looks like they might be winning that on the road. A tough test against Memphis. They are on the Tiger 9-yard line. Still delayed there between Clemson and Syracuse. Might be the same kind of case that Wake Forest had a couple of weekends ago. It was like almost like a 6-hour delay. This one's looking like a couple of hours before it'll get back into action. And we'll see if that affects Syracuse. We should have some final scores rolling in here in a few moments. Yes, we do. Let's fix the big board because that is what we're updating. And here we go. Maryland beats Wisconsin 27-10. What a blowout there. Did not expect that. Badgers looking real bad. Louisville has also wrapped it up against Bowling Green. 40-17 is the final score there. Uh-oh. Was that a turnover? Fumble. There in Memphis. The Tigers look like they're going to try to wrap it up against the Razorbacks 32-31. That score line might hold. That is another big win for the American. And the comeback for Army is happening. That game is going to go to overtime between them and North Texas. Again, that's not good for the American. You really want the Mean Green to be winning that one. That one is 38-38. Let's update the big board. Another touchdown for Texas Tech. They have completely now here just in the fourth quarter blown out Utah 34-10. Just again in the fourth quarter, scoring 23 points. That is some impressive stuff. We talked about it during the week that they needed to score a certain amount of points in the first half, but looks like they made up for it just in the fourth quarter. Takes a lot of effort just to break down some teams. Gardner-Webb versus Ohio has kicked off, and then Buffalo versus Troy has also gotten underway. Joe Clapp brought up a pretty interesting thing about the quarterback that stepped up, Hammond. He had a lot of reps there in the spring because Baron Morton was hurt. So it makes a lot of sense of why he was more than ready to pick up the pieces for the starting quarterback for the Red Raiders. Oregon State looks like they're going to try to make it a fight. I don't know how long that's going to last, but it is going to be 7-0 for the Beavers there in Eugene. UNLV finally, I don't know, I think they weren't on top at all so far today, but at least have a lead on the road there. Their comeback looks like it's going to be completed. Do I have some more final scores to talk about? I think I do. Yes, we do. Let me get those updated here. And here we go. Okay, TCU has wrapped it up against SMU. The Horned Frogs regain the Iron Skillet 35-24 over the Ponies. SMU now goes 0-2 against Big 12 teams. And the other big score, 63-14, USF wraps it up against South Carolina State. This one is ending here between Utah and Texas Tech. The Red Raiders win 34-10, continue their winning streak over the Utes, as it's now 3-0. The last time these two met was back in 1973. You kind of saw the program from when we introed the game. Also ending, Memphis completes their comeback against Arkansas. That game ends 32-31. North Texas versus Army is in overtime. So we have some OT. UNLV, they get that game winner with a field goal to beat Miami of Ohio 41-38. And Army's back in overtime like they did against Tarleton State. Let's see who comes out on top. I think we'll end the stream maybe when that wraps up. What channel is that on? Might have already wrapped up. We'll see. No, we're not going to be able to see that. Or it might have already finished. The green wave, at least on mine, green up 45 to 38. They might be securing the win right now. Yeah, by the looks of it, I think it might have. Yep. Or am I not seeing that again? Yeah, end of overtime. North Texas wraps it up against Army. They'll win 45 to 38. And then, yeah, we're going to wrap it up here because that was the game we were waiting to see the final result of. I will see you guys again next week. As here at your Sports Outpost, we like to cover all 136 collegiate programs. Thank you for joining us once again. It has been an awesome morning here on YT, covering 15 of those early kickoff games. We'll see you next weekend for USC at Illinois in Champaign for that Saturday morning show here again on the channel. Later today, we will be over on Rumble doing Illinois versus Indiana. So if you want to come join us over there, we will be on the front page of that platform like we usually are. Don't need a sub, just come in and hang out with us here on the couch for any weekend of college football for the remainder of the season. Mr. Peter, take us out.
You got it, Roadie. Alright, that's it, football fiends from your Sports Outpost. Don't forget to check out our show next weekend for some big play and highlights of that week's morning games. We also have links below for other stuff related to the channel and our homies if you are interested in others that make content in the sports world. Okay, hope to see you again and stay wrecked.